Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Blu-Roy Movies. It's Sunday. Only means one thing. It's time for the weekly watches. And it's been such a bloody wet and horrible and miserable weekend. Just right to sit in the warm and talk about some films. So let's crack on with it. 7 titles this week, about par for the course. Try and get one in a day, and I've managed to succeed that for the last few weeks, so all going well. So let's kick it off with last Sunday. I watched The Dark Knight. Now I've seen this must be about my 4th or 5th time of viewing this film, and I've always thought it's good, don't get me wrong, but it's never had the wow factor that it has with a lot of people. But that was until I watched it this time, and it absolutely blew away. So I don't know what I was looking at before, where I just thought it was, okay. I just thought it was incredible this time. Maybe it's because it was a first time watch in 4K, and maybe that elevated it a layer for me. But just a wonderful, wonderful film. It's a heist film. It's an action film. It's a superhero film. It's dark. It's gritty. I was just captivated for the whole time, and it's a long film. I think it's over 2.5 hours, but I was never bored. It's just weird that how sometimes like a film can gravitate with you, and you've seen it so many times before, and just this time it hit the sweet spot. Just wonderful filmmaking. I can understand now why Nolan is held on this pedestal he's on, because I don't think he's done a bad film. Yeah, just wonderful. Next up, after watching Red last week, retired extremely dangerous. God, I had to think about that. It's Sunday, it's early in the morning. I went back in for Red 2 this week, and it's alright. Great cast again. Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Marie-Louise Parker, Catherine Zeta-Jones as sort of the Russian ex-girlfriend that turns up. That's quite amusing. Byung-Hun Lee, the hitman who was after him, he was good at it. Helen Mirren again. Anthony Hopkins played a brilliant antagonist. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as the first one. I think the story's a little bit convoluted. It kind of like tries to be a bit clever sometimes. This is all about them trying to recover a nuclear bomb from Russia before our government can get hold of it, before the Russians can get hold of it, because in whoever hands it becomes, this is a dangerous weapon that nobody should behold. Yeah, good stuff. Like I say, not as good as the first one, but a decent follow-up. I'd like to have seen a third one, but we'll never see that again with poor old Bruce. Yeah, decent stuff. Next up, from 1971, I believe, The Blood on Satan's Claw. I think this is what they describe as a folk horror, and a film I had seen years ago as a kid, and I probably shouldn't have seen it. I don't suppose my mum knew what I was watching at the time. I think I must have watched it on my telly in my room, because there's quite a bit of nudity in it and quite frightening, and I think I must have been only like 10 or 11 when I watched it. And I quite enjoyed it again. This is all about, there's a guy working on a field, old-fashioned plough and horse, and he unearths the skull of the devil. The kids take this skull in and start worshipping it, and soon, one by one, they get succumbed by the power of the devil. Yeah, really good, eerie, really atmospheric horror film that I really enjoyed it, and good that now I've got it on physical and I can watch it again. Looks good, shot nice. Yeah, it's great stuff. I've actually reversed the artwork. I don't normally bother doing that because most of its life, all you're going to see is that. But I was quite taken by that. Yeah, not really a cast of anybody I'd heard of. Michelle Detrice from Some Mothers Do Heaven and Soon the Darkness. I watched the other day. She was in it. Yeah, decent horror film. It's on the sale at the moment in the 2 for £15 on the 88 films. I don't know. The horror watchers on here, they said they hadn't seen it before. So yeah, I'd recommend grabbing it, watching it, because it's a decent watch. Next up, and one that I really enjoyed, Jimmy Stewart, The Rare Breed, directed by Andrew McLagan, who name didn't ring a bell, but then I looked through his filmography and like just films I'd enjoyed before: Shenandoah, Chisholm, McClintock, one with Roger Moore. Oh no, it's gone out of my head now. Roger Moore, North Sea Hijack. He did that one as well. So I always think it's curious how some directors, names aren't familiar, but then you look at their filmography and it's like just film after film that you know. It always surprised me how some directors, their name gets out there, but others not so much. But this is a really good film. This is about Maureen O'Hara and her daughter, played by Juliet Mills, who is daughter of John Mills. They come across from England to America to Texas, or with their prize bull, a Herefordshire bull, and their idea is they're going to crossbreed it with the traditional American Longhorn cow to make this super breed. And they hire James Stewart to get it to the ranch that they've sold it to successfully so that they can start the breeding progress, which sounds boring, sounds quite odd for a Western, but it's actually really enjoyable. He comes up against Jack Elam quite a few times, and Jack Elam's trying to get this cow away for somebody else. And the interactions between them, they have 3 fist fights in the film, which I really enjoy. I do like Jack Elam, and I know my dad's a big fan of Jack Elam. Another character actor who always seems to get killed in his films, and a really expressive face. Yeah, just love Jack Elam. And then they get it to the ranch, which is owned by this guy playing by Brian Keith, like a guy who's settled in America for the Highlands with great big ginger beard and a brusque Scotsman. And it's quite a funny film as well. And yeah, really hit the sweet spot for me. I really recommend this one. Again, it's quite recently priced from Signal One, and I think a lot of people picked this up in the recent sales. So if you haven't got round to it yet, stick it on, because it really surprised me. And looking at reviews for it, like very mixed. I think I was in a minority of people who it hit the sweet spot for. Jimmy Stewart's his usual brilliant self in this. Yeah, wonderful film, and I'm glad that I've now got round to it. And possibly, as much as I love The Dark Knight and it's an excellent film, I enjoyed this a bit more. So this might be the film of the week. Yeah, give it a go, guys. Wonderful. And next up, another surprise, back into the box set for Psycho 4. And again, I wasn't expecting a great deal from this, but it really surprised me. This is set a little while after Psycho 3, and they've released Norman Bates again out of psychiatric care. Go figure, why do they keep doing it? And he rings up this, like a true crime radio station. They're talking about people that have murdered their mothers, like a chat show. What's the word for it? They call it matricide. Matricide, the act of killing your mother. And Norman Bates is recounting his story of how he first started killing to this radio station, and you see his life back in flashbacks with another guy playing a young Norman Bates. And yeah, it was really entertaining, really surprised me. And as you can tell, as Norman's recalling his story, something's brewing in him, and you can tell he's about to start again. Again, Perkins, brilliant in it. Really great actor. Like, he deserved to do far more than he did, I think. Because I've only seen him in Psycho films and On the Beach, is it? Something like that, about the end of the world. On the Beach, that's going to annoy me now. Something the Beach. Yeah, all in all, this box set, such a wonderful addition to the collection, and I just wish I hadn't messed up now, because when I ordered it from CX, the Blu-ray edition and the 4K edition were exactly the same price, and I'll click the Blu-ray edition by mistake. What a bloody idiot. But there you go. Definitely a set now I'll keep into the collection, because Psycho, obviously the best film. Then I'd probably go 3, 4 and 2, which is probably controversial because I know a lot of people hold up Psycho 2 as their favourite, but that's the way I'd rank them. But all good films, all enjoyable. So yeah. Next up, in a film I'd watched as a kid, I think, Walter Pidgeon and Francis, who was lovely in this, and Leslie Nielsen in Forbidden Planet. And it surprised me that it was in colour. I always had this, obviously I've seen it as a kid, but I can't remember, but I always thought it was a black and white film. This is all about these guys who land on a planet to discover what's happened to the people that's gone before them, and something's gone down where everybody's been killed apart from this scientist chap played by Pidgeon and his daughter played by Francis. And it looks beautiful. It's really, really well shot. Cinematography fantastic for the 50s. But Robbie the Robot, he was standing out brilliant. Robbie the Robot made that guy loads of bottles of whiskey. Certainly, that was a high point, especially for that guy. But I found it a bit dull, the story, to be honest. Didn't really resonate with me after all these years. Yeah, I did find myself getting quite distracted while I was watching it. So, yeah, a bit of a shame, really. It was all right. Not one I'm going to rush back to very quickly. Well, it has taken me like 40 odd years to rush back after the first time, but there you go. If I'm still going in another 40 odd years, maybe I'll watch it again, but that's unlikely. So we'll see what we do. I might move this one on. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. And last up for the week, directed by, is it Michael? Philip Kaufman, the absolute iconic Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Now, I watched the 50s version recently. You might have seen that on the channel. And I said that I thought that was maybe my favourite. But I did say at the time, if I watched the 70s one again, maybe that would flip-flop it again. And yeah, absolutely did, because this is a classic film. So atmospheric, and the paranoia of it just gets into you. You don't know who's a pod person and who isn't. You don't know who's on your side. You don't know who you can trust. Brilliant, brilliant science fiction. Maybe in my top 10 science fiction films. I've done horror one and a war one, so maybe that might be the one I do next. Sutherland, absolutely incredible in it. Jeff Goldblum, young Jeff Goldblum, he was good. Spock, who Leonard Nimoy, isn't it? I think this is the only thing I've ever seen him in, because I've never watched anything Star Trek. I've never seen an episode in my life. It's just never appealed to me. The girl who played the love interest, she was really good. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. And also the other girl in it, who is the other woman on the Nostromo in Aliens. I think she was really, really good on it. I need to have a look and see what else she's been in, because she's really good in Alien, and she's really good in this. Anybody knows what else she's been in, let me know. Yeah, it's iconic film. I said The Rare Breed, maybe the pick of the week, but maybe this equally, because both as good. So that was it. That was it for the week, guys. What do you think? Pretty decent week, all in all. Red 2 was just all right. Forbidden Planet I did find a bit dull, but that's probably just me. I know it's much loved. So there it is. I'll see you again next week for some more. I'll be back in midweek because I've had some fantastic gifts and some great pickups. So I'll do a gift and pickup video midweek. Give me a thumbs up if you've liked what I've done today. Maybe think about subscribing if you want to hear more of this twaddle. And I'll catch you guys all soon. Ta-ra.